They call it the city that never sleeps. The city of dreams. The Big Apple. The crossroads of the world. It's said that if you can make it there, you could make it anywhere. So they come from across the globe with bags full of hopes and dreams, and the city welcomes them. But dreams are rarely what they are believed to be, for while the city may never sleep, still night falls. And it is in the night that the children of Cain wake and play out the masquerade in my city. Beware, children, lest ye fall.
And hello everyone, welcome. We are Saturday, and this means it is time for some more Vampire. Thank you to everyone tuning in tonight. I know this is not our usual time. We are playing a bit later because GMT and all that. So, I am Simon at Wandering DM. Welcome to the channel, welcome to the show. Before we dive into our New York City adventures, let's just go through a few things. One, I would just like to welcome our new sponsors to Wandering DM. The first one of which is Found Familiar. Found Familiar is a coffee company that makes different brands of coffee, types of blends, I should say. They are delicious and amazing, and it's all basically TTRPG related. They have some very cool names like Arcane Recovery and Rogue Panache and stuff like that, and the flavors are just amazing. You can go at their store at foundfamiliar.com. If you use code WanderingDM, you get 10% off your purchases. Second sponsor is new from today. You will see it down below in the panels, and it is Dice Envy. Dice Envy is a dice company that makes some fabulous looking dice. They are currently having a sale on all wooden dice right now. You can click on the panel below. It'll send you on the website using my code, and you get 10% off your purchases for dice. And the last sponsor is a returning sponsor from a long time ago, and it is Mage Hand Press. Mage Hand Press are makers of D&D 5th edition supplements, such as Dark Matter, D&D in Space, which we play here every Tuesday. They are also the makers of books such as the Mimic Book of Mimic, Taverns and Tankards, the Complete Warden, the Complete Gunslinger, etc., the Book of Fae. You can check their store at store.mageandpress.com. Use code WanderingDM, again, to get 15% off anything that you purchase, including the pre-order for the new hardcover version of Dark Matter. That being said, tonight I'll be playing Sid Zimmerman, the Gangrel private detective, and one half of the Vamp Dads. I have with me a almost full cast. We are missing Auden tonight, but let's go and introduce the rest of our little family. And let's start with the other half of the Vamp Dads. Who are you and who are you playing?
Hello, everyone. I'm Scott at Berserker_Rage on the Twitch and the Twitter. I will be playing Alexander Erickson tonight, our resident Ventrue, and the other half of the Vamp Dads.
And we have with us our loyal son, who's with us through thick and thin, will never betray us for his girlfriend or anything of the like. Who are you and who are you playing?
I'm Thragon in the chat and on Twitter. Tonight I'm going to be playing Herschel Akers. And by the way, guys, like if you haven't checked out these sponsor sites, they're really cool. Apparently the coffee site has shirts and mugs and stuff. And I'm looking at dice now. And, you know, if I'm buying stuff during the stream, you know, I'll have to close these for a bit. But super excited to play. And I'm glad you guys are all here watching. So
cool. And all of our adventures would not be possible without a storyteller, and that is Deirdre's job. So Deirdre, can you tell us who you are, and please take us back into New York.
Hey y'all, welcome back. I'm your friendly neighborhood storyteller, Deirdre, or Prax as I'm known around places, and it's New York. It's the summertime. Well, it's the end of the summer. It's Labor Day week, leading up to Labor Day weekend, and the rise of certain things have caused complications for our wonderful coterie of vampires. We have had some interesting things happen. Last night particularly was very busy. Alex attempted to attend, well, let's see. First, Alexander attended a meeting of the Ventrue clan in the city where the Justicar made an appearance. Lucind has not been the Justicar of the Ventrue for the last 150 years. That position now belongs to a gentleman named Cadfile. Where Lucind is, nobody's 100% sure, but Cadfile was one of her loyal attendants and took the position purely on the understanding that if Lucind ever reappeared, he was going to be leaving in favor of her. You left that meeting, which went moderately well. You informed the Justicar that the Lasombra were attempting to make deals with the Tremere and that you would inform him of further information that you got as the time progressed. Unfortunately for you, something went wrong when you tried to get in your car to return, and never made it back to your brownstone, your domain. Instead, you, woke up in a 10 by 10 metal room that was pitch black. Luckily, through some engineering, some lucky rolls, and your gremlin stepson full-on monitoring all of your communication systems on your phone after he, had destroyed his computer by attempting to hack the Swiss banks. They were able to find Alexander in the maintenance tunnels off the side of the subway. This led to some interesting discoveries that Alexander wasn't the only person to suffer kidnapping that night. Also, there was a lupine that was found in one of those rooms in those tunnels. And they returned to those tunnels when Sid pointed out that their friend, associate, confidant, possibly consigliere. I'm going to give her the title of consigliere. Rebecca Leibowitz was contacting Sid mentally and complaining about being in a metal room that was slowly filling with salt water. And she didn't like that at all. You managed to rescue the lupine. You also rescued another smaller vampire of Asian descent, kind of styling a slightly gothic Lolita military style. Cute and violent. If anyone had ever seen Saga of Tanya the Evil, definitely those kind of vibes coming off of her. You managed to trace the mental information that you're getting from Rebecca without further connection of telepathy to a storage container that had been sunk off the side of the Brooklyn Battery tunnel ventilation shaft off of Governor's Island. Sid and Alex and Auden entered the water and managed to rescue Rebecca. Herschel stayed on the boat that they had commandeered. Unfortunately, got shoved into the water when an individual took the stock of a M16 to the side of his head. But tiny gothic Lolita vampire was a little bit frenzied when she woke up, and those poor unfortunate souls aren't going to show up anywhere anytime soon unless it's in the propellers of a tanker, maybe as floaters. You made your way home. Auden helped Rebecca get cleaned up, and then Sid discussed with Alex the fact that he now has an appointment tonight with one Yafet Kodo, an elder of the Lasombra clan attached to the Cameroon embassy. Has some slight complicated relationship with Alexander, it might be fair to say. And you discovered that shortly before you retired that Rebecca was hiding in a ball of vines. Just about 4.5 feet in diameter. But you retired for the day, and night has fallen again as you awake. Sid, you're always the first up, followed quickly by Herschel. Your appointment tonight is at 9:30. You've got about an hour and a half from nightfall to make your way to Grand Central Station at the Oyster Bar. Do you have any plans before you leave?
Not really. I'm gonna go check on Rebecca before I leave, though.
So you walk into Auden's room?
I'll knock.
There's no answer. Auden's not in her room.
Oh, good.
Remember, she slept upstairs.
That's true. She left her room alone. So I'll open the door.
Just roll me perception alertness.
Sure. What's the difficulty?
Just 6.
3, 4, 5 successes.
Well, the obvious thing is the giant ball of vines is no longer there. Well, it is, but it's the remains of it are. They're kind of pieces of leaves that have look kind of like oak leaves that have turned for the season, reds and golds kind of laying everywhere. The giant ball itself is not in the space. There's really nothing there. There is, however, a small box seated on a small end table that's kind of been obviously pushed closer to that corner. And the box itself is maybe, looks like a small jewelry box, about 8 inches by about 4 inches. It's inlaid, it's a dark ebony wood inlaid with silver in Hebrew.
What does it say?
Thank you.
No, I don't know if this is the Odin or myself. Not gonna hurt to take a peek. And I'll open the box.
Inside are 4 vials
Huh.
with a kind of reddish substance in them.
I'll take one. I suppose they're corked?
They're sealed
Sealed.
with
okay.
wax.
Huh. Does it look like blood? Like, does it have the same consistency?
Has the same consistency, but it's slightly off. It's not. I mean, you've seen a lot of blood. You have drawn a lot of blood in the past 75 years.
I've also drank a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of that too. It's definitely not human. It's also not vitae.
Okay. I'll put it back in the case. Just because I don't want to carry it around and risk breaking the vial in any way. I'll close the box, I'll take it with me, and I'll bring it downstairs to the kitchen. And I'll leave it on the kitchen counter. With a post-it that says, "From Rebecca."
Okay.
And then I'll write underneath, "Take one." Just the...
Take one. Herschel?
No, I have to trust in the boy. I would just write, "Take one," so that we can all have one. And I'll just put the post-it on it. And after that, I'll get ready for my meeting with Kodo. And I'm not, like, I'm thinking I'm not dressing up for the occasion. I'll bring my regular, sweater with my coat over it, and jeans.
I mean, okay. So you're preparing to go out. Herschel, you had a small doll with you when you went to bed that just kind of showed up in your space. You're muted.
Am I good?
Yes.
Okay. I want to make a roll about it, but I'm not sure what to do. Like, is there like a history or
that? Okay, that's the question. What do you want
Occult?
to find out about? You want to find out about occult? Then it's intelligence occult. If you want to find out about history or other information, it's intelligence academic.
I'll do occult here. That seems more along the lines of this voodoo doll. Nope, just a doll.
It's a rag doll that looks kind of like you. There are no facial features. It's truly a cloth doll that looks like somebody just cut it out and stuffed it, probably with leftover rags. It does have your signature brown duster / robe thing that you've got going on, and the gray sweatpants and the white shirts.
I'll go upstairs and I'll ask Sid about it. Like, maybe I see him leaving the kitchen or something. Sid, do you I found this downstairs randomly.
Playing with dolls?
Well,
I'm not judging.
Not exactly. Do you know how it got there?
I mean, I don't think Sabrina has anything to do with it. We could ask her.
It kind of resembles me. It kind of appeared on my cot downstairs.
Can you hand it over?
Yeah, I'll hand it to him.
What is it made of?
It's just cotton. It's like quilter's cotton. It's I mean, you're of the right age and even of the right social economic status that it looks like a homemade doll that someone anywhere from the 1500s up until the 20th century would have made for their own children. It's cloth, leftover spare cotton. There's no face on it, but it's, stands about maybe 8-9 inches in full length. The clothes that it's wearing are relatively well made for, doll's clothes.
Mm-hmm. So it's someone that we could say has some sort of skill in sewing.
Yes, that's not hard to determine. Yes. The maybe not professional, but the seams are straight. They aren't, double serged or anything, and they're not almost invisible, but they are straight.
This doll's really well made. I'm thinking, probably by someone who knows how to sew. Like, a certain person.
Yeah, I mean, dolls haven't really been our thing or her thing in the past, I don't think. This isn't triggering any
Memories.
anything you could think of. Yeah.
I take the doll and I raise its left arm.
You raise the doll's left arm.
I flick it in the forehead.
You flick the doll in the forehead.
Well, doesn't seem magical. At least you know that anything that happens to the doll won't happen to you.
Should we change the locks on the house? I mean, stuff just keeps appearing in here, and
This is really, security is really lacking. I have a meeting with Kodo tonight, but I can probably pop by a 24-hour locksmith or something on my way back.
are you going by yourself to that?
Yeah, why?
I was just curious. It normally when we wander off by ourselves, I mean, maybe he knows that we've been poking around at what he's been buying, and he might not appreciate it.
You want to come snoop?
I mean, a little bit. There's not a whole lot I can do here besides torture Auden, but that gets old after a while.
Well, if it gets you out of trouble, let's come with me.
It sounds like fun. What do we really know about him? Besides that he's just buying properties, like...
Not that much. Misela Sombra lives at the embassy, I think.
Alright. Do you think he's tied to the kidnappings at all?
Maybe in a way, but I don't think he's responsible for them. Like, there probably is a tie to him in some way, but I don't know. I don't think he's, like, behind all of it.
Yeah. Well, if I could get the doll back, I'll go see if Alexander knows anything about it.
All right.
I'll go to Alexander's room and probably wake him up earlier than he's used to. Alexander, I need you to wake up. It's minorly important.
This had better be important, Herschel.
Are you decent? Can I just barge on in?
Give me 5 minutes.
All right. Like 2 minutes go by and I knock again. Hey, it's really been 5 minutes. Are you ready?
Just, what is it, Herschel? And I'll
So
open the door.
I found this creepy doll kind of appeared on my bed downstairs. It resembles me. Is this ringing any bells?
And
Like, hold it out to
I'll
him.
snatch it out from his hands. Just give me this. And I'll walk over to the desk and grab a letter opener and just poke it.
Yeah, and I'll do like a ah!
You poke the doll.
I'll push the letter opener in further.
You stab the doll.
Yeah, it's, man, you're not going into torpor, so that's out of the question. And I'll put the letter opener back. And so, where did you get this?
Well, I went downstairs last night for bed, and it was sitting on my cot that I sleep on.
This was already in your room,
Yes.
and you've not given anyone else the key to your space?
Mm-mm.
That's
I
concerning.
mean, I'd check the cameras, but I can't.
Everything should be here sometime this evening for you if it hasn't arrived already. That is concerning. Pardon me for a moment. I'm going to text Elizabeth to have a security detail put on the brownstone as well.
Of course, sir. Is there a particular reason why?
Things seem to be gaining entry to the brownstone, and I don't know how.
Oh, are you talking about the roses that were delivered yesterday?
No,
I brought them inside.
This is a doll that Herschel had received.
I know nothing about a doll, sir.
Yeah, I don't either. Just at your convenience. Thank you.
Of course, sir.
Is this a gift from your admirer, Herschel?
I haven't asked since the blood bond. Trying to limit the contact there
Well, that's
because it's kind of exciting, but also kind of terrifying.
that's positive news. What did Sid say? Did he know anything about this?
No, not really. He flicked it, and then we started talking about Yaphet Kodo.
Oh, that's right. His meeting. Let me gather my things. I'll be down in a moment, and I'll throw the doll back to Herschel.
I will try to catch it. Yeah, and I'll tuck it away in one of my robe pockets, next to the gun.
Make sure you draw the gun next time you need it and not the doll.
Oh, it'd be hilarious.
That's right.
Just stand back. I'll poke it. Yeah, I guess I'll just go back down to the kitchen or something and wait for Alexander to come down.
All right. When I see the moment I see Herschel come down, I'll ask him, "Are you ready to go?"
Yeah, I'm dressed my best.
I don't think we need to dress to impress. Come on.
I'll just bye, Alexander. And I'll lock the door behind me.
God, he's learning. And yeah, we'll make our way to Grand Central Station.
From where you all are, Grand Central is easy. You take the 1 and the 9 for, the 1, 2, 3. It's been 1 and the 9 for generations, and now it's the 1, 2, 3. To go figure. From Houston Street, uptown to Times Square Station, take the shuttle across to Grand Central. You walk out of the subway into the pathways of Grand Central. They're large and they're busy. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. It's always busy. There's always someone walking around. It's old Art Deco and subway tiles, recently cleaned and very impressively done. You walk if you're coming from the shuttle, you walk out of the entry in the side tunnel down past the Northern Bakers and the children's game store, the station master's office. You turn to your right and there's a wide ramp tunnel, maybe almost 25, 30 feet across, goes down to the lower level. At the halfway point is the Grand Central Oyster Bar. It's domed and arched, barrel vaulted ceilings with subway tiles in angles and browns and creams. It's a little busy. It's a little loud, but there are some off corners where there are tables also plugged in for private meetings, but it's 9:30, or almost. You've got about 3-4 minutes before, and you know that it's a Wednesday night. People are going home, or they're waiting for a train, or they're meeting someone. There's a good crowd going. There's some parties happening. A bunch of financials are celebrating some major business deal or other at the bar and buying rounds, both of alcohol and shots of oysters. The hostess greets you and asks, reservation, bar?
I'm here to see Mr. Kodo. I think he has a reservation.
Of course, sir. Right this way.
And I'll leave Herschel behind.
Herschel, do you stay behind?
No. I would like to see where they go, and then maybe take a seat at the bar, and then I'll try to sneak back where they went.
Okay. Okay. Here, let me post this so you know what the oyster bar looks like. And I'll even post it in chat for everyone so that you can see what the oyster bar looks like.
God, I want to go to an oyster bar right now.
It's a thing. The bars is set up as 4 giant U's, and there's a big bar, alcohol bar, in the back with a giant mirror and glass that runs the entire length of the back. There are, at the far right-hand side, smaller archways with little tables. It looks like somebody has pulled a curtain across them. It's a little odd. It's not something that usually happens, but it can. That's where the hostess leads Sid. So are you going to the alcohol bar or the oyster bar?
Alcohol bar.
Okay. Sid.
Yep.
The hostess leads you back and pulls the curtain. And as you walk in, asks, "Can I get you anything, sir?"
Looking at what Kodo has right now, did he already order anything?
No, he hasn't ordered anything yet, but you see that he's got a folded menu in front of him.
Nothing for now, thanks.
Of course, sir. Yaphet Kodo is an imposing presence. He stands about just under 6 foot tall, wide shoulders, African American, very round face. And he seems to be smiling at you, but there's just this hint of menace in that smile. Like he enjoys being the most powerful person in the room and inflicting that with both pain and terror on others. He's also gives the impression of one who is extremely intelligent. He's very well dressed in a slightly 60s hip tuxedo not tuxedo, black suit with white shirt, intricate collar, so there's no tie. The suit jacket is long and closed up in the middle, no buttons, but just kind of almost like a zipper, but stylized. He just kind of looks at you and gestures at the seat across from him. It's a banquette U, like a U banquette. So with a table in the middle, and he's seated to the right-hand side, and he gestures to you across from him.
Yeah, I'll take a seat across from him. And I'll just nod as I sit down and say, Mr. Kodo.
Mr. Zimmerman, how may I help you?
You want, and I motion to the menu, you want to order anything or we get straight to the point?
I do enjoy services, but not at the moment. They do also have a very pleasant menu for those of our kind, if you know the right person to ask.
I like when my meal tries to run away from me.
The hunt is fun, but sometimes you just want a fine drink in a very fine establishment.
We're deep on the ground in a fake mausoleum-like place that serves oysters. Is that really a fine establishment?
Oh, this is a very fine establishment. I remember when they opened this.
I don't. Anyway, I'm not here to reminisce about the opening of old-ass restaurants in New York City.
Why are you here?
Why are you buying properties in New York? Or, more accurately, why targeting only the Tremere?
Why should I answer?
I share no love for the Tremere. But everything is complicated. I wager you want a foothold in this city.
It is New York.
And I gather that you, well, looking at how you do things, so far I haven't seen you making a move to benefit the Sabbat yet.
He just stares at you, waiting.
So I'm thinking you either want to be left alone, or you want in with the Camarilla. I'd rather think you'd rather be left alone. Do your little things, not be restrained by the traditions of any of the sects.
Politics is complicated.
All the
We
time.
inherit it. Right? You inherit all the politics of your sire, your grandsire. Going back generations.
Unfortunately for some of us.
But if you can work the right way round, then those politics can work for you.
So your politics have you entangled with the Tremere or with the Giovanni?
There are no Giovanni vampires in this city.
Oh, that same spiel. Sure.
I do not need to give a spiel. There are no Giovanni vampires in this city.
But there are Giovannis.
He kind of looks very quizzical at that, slightly.
You don't have to be a vampire to be part of their family.
True. Haven't kept up to date on all of the descendants lately. That seems an oversight.
Yeah. None of us has gone to Venice in a while.
It's sinking. Why do I need to go to that city?
Wait, was it Venice that they were? Let me check that note again. It's Venice, right?
Venice, yes.
No, it's Vienna. No, Vienna's
No,
the
Vienna
Tremere.
is the Tremere.
Yeah.
Venice is the Giovannis.
And, well, I don't know much about politics myself, but I think it'd be rather, a rather big stain on the local topography if, someone from the Giovanni clan was, sired by another clan. Wouldn't it?
No Sombra has sired anyone lately.
I'm not targeting you. But if that were to happen, I figure that, if it were known in any capacity, it would probably mar the clan that turned them and probably brand them as outcasts, wouldn't it?
I could see some complications. Definitely wouldn't be doing much business with them.
Wouldn't you? Or wouldn't you blackmail them into selling all their properties for you to buy for cheap?
What do you... Who is a Giovanni?
An answer for an answer. Why are you buying off all of the Tremere Primogens' places? All their businesses and offices and houses and such.
He kind of looks at you dead in the eye and evaluates you, and you can feel the weight of his gaze on you.
I have a shit-eating grin in my face.
You probably do. He because unlike loyal dogs or grand politicians or rodents that scurry in the dark, he kind of glances over his shoulder towards the bar. The Tremere by the right places for the right types of activities.
So you're just going against them because it just so happens that you have a vested interest in the same business ventures as they do.
Oh, not business ventures. Places of power don't change no matter who owns them.
Oh. Hocus pocus and all that.
I don't choose to call it that.
You're talking about the occult. You're talking about places of power in the occult sense, aren't you?
Yes.
Well, good for you. I'd rather have someone like you be owner of these places than the Tremere.
Why?
Just fuck the Tremere.
I don't usually choose to engage in those activities with them, but is there a particular reason that you're not in desiring to deal with them?
I've had encounters with them during the Summer of Sam before.
That was a mess.
Yes, it was. Let's just say the Tremere has left a bad aftertaste in my mouth. Whereas the La Sombra have certainly left an aftertaste in my mouth, but of a different nature.
Intriguing. How is Sabrina?
Safe.
Wasn't my doing, but I don't get involved in family squabbles. You deal with your own.
Which is why I don't believe you're affiliated with the Sabbat.
Affiliates are complicated. There's no one who can say otherwise at this moment.
Everything is always complicated. But let's say you wanted to befriend the actual owners of the city of New York. The ruling caste, as it were. Make sure that you're a little more welcome than you actually are at the moment. That you could probably leave the embassy from time to time and not have to skulk in the shadows. I'm sure someone like you would like to reach the upper echelons of the New York City political scene.
And you can offer that.
As strange as it seems, I probably could.
Well, this has been an enlightening evening.
I'm gonna need a whole lot in return. Just talking about buying properties for their occult values is one thing. But, I have a few other questions.
Then I think we need a better sort of environment if we're going to have more complicated conversations. Does your young associate desire to join us?
Well, he was here to make sure that you didn't try to flee. But, yeah.
How is he going to do that from out there?
If you got the upper hand on me.
I have no desire to harm you. If I didn't want to be here, I wouldn't be.
one more reason why I don't believe you're Sabat just yet. Or if you are, you're vastly more intelligent than the rest of your sect.
Extremely so.
Feels good not to talk with a shovelhead. So where do you want to go?
I feel like calling my cousin.
Vinny?
No. Funny, but no. You know her. And he kind of picks up the cell phone and then presses, does the offhand combination to unlock it, then presses a name in the contacts list, sets the phone down in front of middle of the table, turns on the speaker. Sophia, darling, I think we're coming to visit. Do you have room for 6 for dinner?
Who's the 6th?
Oh, I figure Alexander should be here for this one.
Oh, let me call him.
And you hear coming back through the phone, Sophia going, Yafet? Really? All right. Well, fine. Honestly, 5 minutes and I have to throw the king together? Veronique will be very upset. And she hangs up the phone. And he clicks it off.
Sorry, I'm having trouble with my phone.
Technology is complicated.
Touchscreen work with body heat.
And the phone rings and rings. Alexander, Sid is calling.
I suppose I should answer this. Hopefully it's Sid. Yes, Sid, please tell me that's you.
How can you say hopefully it's Sid? Don't you have, caller ID?
Hoping that it's actually you using your phone to call me, Sid.
Oh, that was Simon out of character. I don't change my voice that much. Yeah, Sid says, Alex. Yeah, it's me.
Yes.
I'm in no danger. Remember the Montbéliard girl?
Yes.
Yeah, we got a date with her. A massive date with a bunch of people.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Where?
And I look at Kodo. Where?
Her hotel will be fine.
At her hotel.
Interesting.
Yeah, you, me, Herschel, Yafet, Kodo, Veronique, and Sophia.
Sounds like an interesting evening.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'll be there shortly. Keep Yafet waiting. I'm sure he won't mind.
Sure. So, Mr. Kodo. What's that special menu you talked to me about earlier?
And you just see him kind of reach a hand out of the curtain that's been closed and gesture a finger. 30 seconds later, the hostess returns. Sir? The smelly gentleman at the bar can join us. And bring the other menu. Of course, sir. Right away, sir. And she kind of hurries away. 30 seconds later, Herschel, the hostess, approaches you at the bar, very subtly taps you on the shoulder and says, Mr. Koda would appreciate your presence. This way, sir.
That time. And I'll lead where she wants me to go.
She does not make eye contact with you, and in fact makes a point of not looking at you.
I'm used to it.
I mean, for the fact that you creep people out just by being in their presence, she's actually doing pretty well. She's just being very professional about not looking at you.
Is she human or vampire?
Definitely not vampire.
Good for her.
She's trying very hard to, you can kind of see that she doesn't give the impression, you're used to seeing just your general presence scare people. And while she's not making contact and she's definitely giving true professionalism, she doesn't give any of the other obvious warning signs of fear to you.
I hope she gets paid well.
Well, then she opens the curtain and gestures for you in. You see Yaphet Kodo sitting to the right-hand side of this curved banquette. He kind of slides over so that he's seated in the middle.
I'll sit next to Sid.
Okay.
What's up?
I'll be right back with that menu, gentlemen. She closes the door and brings another 30 seconds. She brings a menu. This is organized by blood type and type of alcohol, if you choose to mix. Kodo orders a Calvados and AB positive.
I'll have a margarita and surprise me with what you put in it.
Of course, sir. Is Patron acceptable? That is the well tonight.
Is there an umbrella in that?
That can. Of course, sir.
Just a little tiny one. Yep, that's fine. Thank you.
Yourself, sir?
I'll get a bloody Crassus. Seems on point. And I'll just look at Kodo as I say that, trying to see if he has a reaction.
He kind of half smirks at that. And the hostess...
I meant
sir?
a bloody Caesar.
I'm sorry.
Well, Jesus. I'll take the menu she brought. Can't I just mix blood with tomato juice?
You mean a Bloody Mary?
A Bloody Mary. Wow. Yeah, my bad.
I was like, oh, sure, you can have blood and tomato juice and vodka. I was like, I know a lot. I spent some time behind the bar, but I'm blanking on that one.
Yeah, no, a Bloody Mary.
It must be a Canadian thing. I don't know.
I was prepared for a Canadian thing.
Give me a second. Yeah, no. I'm not. A fucking bloody Caesar. It's vodka, Caesar mix, hot sauce, and Worcestershire sauce.
It's a Canadian Bloody Mary. It has to be, because that's a Bloody Mary. It's tomato juice or Bloody Mary mix, vodka or gin, your choice, Worcestershire sauce, and various other things depending on how you mix it.
Look, I'm gonna post it in chat. There you go.
I believe you. I just have never, ever heard of that, so it must be a Canadian version of Bloody Mary. But he kind of, the waitress nods at you and disappears again. Yaphet kind of turns half to smirk at Herschel and says, well, you lose yourself very well, except you kind of slightly smell.
I'm not entirely sure how to respond to that, but you appear to be an important man these days.
I've always been one.
Strange. Haven't heard of you until recently.
Just because you haven't heard of me didn't mean I wasn't important. It just meant I was very good at what I did.
And what did you do?
And he'll kind of turn and look at, kind of side-eye Sid and go, is the child really ready for that kind of description? Wouldn't want to make him ill.
Oh, he saw worse. He's with me.
I worked for the Sabbat in removing obstacles to the goal.
Didn't you see the video?
There's a lot of videos. So, Mr. Kodo, you got your clothes dirty, and I'll look up and down.
If I got my clothes dirty, I wasn't good at my job, now would I?
This is gonna be a long night, Sid.
Yep.
I don't know. I've currently got a bet with Sophia. Maybe I'll see if it'll end up correctly.
What bet's that?
Whether or not Veronique gives into temptation and shoves you into torpor.
I mean, I've had worse things, I suppose.
Than being shoved into torpor violently.
You'd be surprised.
Nothing will happen of the sort. Remember, upper echelons and all that.
Oh, I didn't say I would do that. I can't control Veronique Montbéliard.
Kinda gonna have to. You're the one who invited us over.
She belongs to you all.
I mean, the last time, I saw Veronique, she was making eyes at me, so it's hard to say.
I really don't think that's true. You don't look anything like her lord.
Just rotate my shoulders back. Maybe I do.
No, you really don't.
Everyone has their own tastes, Mr. Kodo.
Mr. Ackers. You are not a 4,000-year-old Ventrue from the Middle East who controlled the city for 2,500 years.
Are you done comparing dicks?
I'm not comparing mine. I'm just pointing out that he's got no possible,
No,
wants
but
to
you
try.
seem to have a very big hard-on for that other guy.
Have you met Mithras?
Have you?
No, I like my own life.
Oh.
And that man, godlike being that he was, I don't know, didn't like me or mine. I stayed out of their way.
I mean, they, threatened me with them a few times.
Yeah, you don't understand what that threat was, do you, child?
I mean, probably death.
Death. Mithras was a prince of the Camarilla merely because the Camarilla gave him kind of what he wished. But, diablerie was never a problem of his. Or something that he felt a need to restrain himself from.
I mean, I've died once, so a second time. You gotta learn to live a little, Mr. Kodo.
At that, he'll turn and look at Sid and go, I raised my bet. I assume we're waiting for Alexander, and that's but a round should be pleasant. And at that, the waitress returns with your drinks. A Bloody Caesar with AB negative for Mr. Zimmerman. A margarita with a O positive and a little pink umbrella that looks very awkward in this drink. It's got a pineapple on the end of it, stuck into it in this drink, and a Calvados, an AB positive for Mr. Koto, as he kind of pulls the brandy snifter to him and circulates it and sips very slowly and nods his appreciation to the hostess and says, add it to the tab.
And I'll text Alexander under the table, like, how fucking long?
It's been long enough. I'll text back. Thank you for playing along. Am I to meet you there or at the hotel?
Here.
Grand Central?
Yes.
On my way.
About the time you finish this round, Alexander is appearing. Alexander, did you dress for the occasion?
No more than usual.
Armani or Zenga?
Zynga.
Stylish entry. The hostess bows you in. May I fetch you a drink, sir?
No, thank you. I would have made a point to drink before I left.
Okay. So, you've had a round. Alexander, you appear, and Kodo says, the wayward one.
Pleasure as always, Yaphet.
Alexander, your associate is a pleasure.
I do certainly hope you're referring to Mr. Zimmerman.
Yes, the child's going to get dead.
Well, I can only do so much.
Would you like to enter the betting on how soon that happens? I've got Veronique ending him in about an hour. Sophia says he might last the night.
He is quite lucky. He may end up living the night. Maybe. I guess it depends on how much talking he actually does.
This is a real big douche-apocalypse over here.
Let's get this night over with.
I feel some restraint might be necessary. Herschel, can you roll me a dex dodge?
DC 6?
DC 9.
Oh, wow.
Three successes.
A lot better than I'd hoped.
You go to dodge out of the way, but your left arm is tied to is restrained against the banquette as this just shadow emerges from the darkness to hold you in place.
Ah, crap, not again.
Immediately, my claws come out.
Yeah, I gotta look at Yaphet as if he's doing this.
I said restraint would be necessary.
I'm all one for jest, but do restrain yourself from touching one of my coterie.
I didn't strangle him. But fine. We're going to dinner anyways, aren't we? He just gestures with his offhand, and the shadows fall back away.
I make eye contact.
You make eye contact.
Yeah. But it's like, like you just made the list, pal. But I don't say it.
After you. He kind of gestures. By now, Sophia should have the house ready. We might even see Ignatius tonight. I haven't seen him in almost 100 years. He waits for you all to leave the table first.
All right, Herschel, let's go.
I'll leave for lead if I'm the first one out.
So you make your way to... Yaphet seems to be walking down the street towards the hotel. It's only 4 blocks from Grand Central anyways, so it's a nice leisurely stroll. It's about 10:30 now. There are a number of people out. It's Midtown. But he doesn't seem to be in any great hurry. He also doesn't seem to be any great concern. As people walk around. He would let you either lead or walk behind him. Either way, he's not concerned about you being an issue with his safety, shall we say.
Do we just take the car and ditch him?
I mean,
No.
I'm not going to offer him a ride.
It's only 4 blocks. We can walk. But I will text the driver and let him know where we are.
That's good. It's 10 minutes, maybe, to get to 43rd Street and 1st Avenue and the hotel. There's this time, instead of entering through the underground garage, you enter from the front door. Yaphet just kind of waltzes in, past the reception desk and waves behind him. It's a kind of an interesting hotel mix of both Art Nouveau and modern, minimalism, if you can kind of picture that. Very obviously an older hotel that's been kind of modernized in recent years with a more modern aesthetic, but they did a very good job of integrating and working with the architectural features and artistic styling that was there originally from when the hotel was built. He leads you directly to the elevator. Doesn't really seem to wait for you. He's not going to hold the elevator door for you, let's put it that way. But he's not going to close it in your face either.
We'll go in.
Yeah, we'll just keep pace with him.
Okay. Enter to the penthouse. Opens up onto the penthouse view. Again, it's got this opens directly into the penthouse suite, and there is opens into the sitting room with a large picture window that overlooks the East River. This sitting room of this kind of modern furniture styling, white leather couches, kind of in a U-shaped overlooking, and Sophia de Varenos stands when the door enters and comes to greet Yaphet in that very Italian greeting both family that you kind of sort of like, but sometimes you're still a little annoyed by, that both Europe grabs his hands and does the full European kiss on both sides and just kind of looks at him and gives him that slight smile of like, are you gonna be a problem tonight or are you gonna be okay? Because, you know.
What's the betting up to now?
And she'll look over at you. Just shake her head and then look at Alexander and Sid and say, "Ah, gentlemen, welcome. I'm so glad you could come. It is a pleasure. Come, sit. Why are we having... I didn't know that we are having a... It's a pleasure to see everybody. This is a surprise, and family and friends getting together, and Veronique will be around shortly. Ignatius should be here." And then as she says that, kind of over her shoulder, coming from one of the side rooms, is a younger looking African-American man. He looks slightly younger than Yaphet. He's about Sid's height, shaved head, no facial hair, in a black suit, but with a bright royal purple shirt and pocket square, no tie, bright silver cufflinks can be seen. And he kind of comes in and says, greets Yaphet politely but slightly coldly, and then just drapes an arm over Sophia's shoulder, and she kind of leans her head in again into his where his arm meets his shoulder, and she's about 3 or 4 inches shorter than he is, kind of tucks her head there. "Ignatius, this is Mr. Sid Zimmerman. You know, I mentioned him. He is a fabulous friend. I like this one. And this is his associate, Mr. Alexander Eriksson. He's also very good. I like this one. And this is their..."
Gremlin stepson.
I like that. I'll have to use that. Gremlin stepson, Herschel. He's not horrible.
Pleasure.
"Ah, pleasure to meet you all. Ignatius." There's a slight hint of English accent under his voice, but it's muddled, like he hasn't lived there in years.
Mm-hmm.
A very long time. But it's there. Come in. Sit down. Apparently we're having guests. And he and Sophia kind of slink in, sit in one of the love seats, and she kind of starts leaning leaning almost fully on him. And
On
he kind of
Ignatius?
on Ignatius, yeah.
Okay.
Ignatius doesn't seem concerned by this, and is very relaxed. But it's also very much of that this is a long-standing relationship.
Okay.
Coming out of the from the right-hand side, the opposite side of where Ignatius came out, is Veronique, and she looks like she did when dressed as she was when you met her at the clan gathering, Alexander. Very stylized pantsuit and reminiscent of Jane Russell, but almost dressed down and wasn't expecting guests, but still put together kind of thing. Nods politically towards Yaphet, gives a half smile towards you, Alexander, kind of gives a slight laughing half smile towards Sid, not in an insulting way, but as if she enjoys your company slightly, or she enjoys something, she expects something out of you that will be enjoyment for her. Not an insult, but just looking forward to what might be happening. And she looks at Herschel and just goes, mm-hmm. And takes one of the big armchairs closest to Sophia and Ignatius, like still within their space, but not physically touching them, and gestures to the other armchair towards Yaphet, and then gestures the three of you towards the large banquette or couch.
Yeah, I
Sit
go
down.
sit.
Yep. I'll have a seat with Sid and Herschel.
And then Veronique says, well, this is a pleasure. I do enjoy. Why are we having guests, Yaphet? And he kind of turns and says, because the oyster bar wasn't an appropriate place to continue conversations. Ah. Well then. You can start the clock now, Sophia.
So what were we talking about, Yaphet?
Land purchases, I believe, and then the promises that were being made. Oh, and politics being complicated.
Never promised anything yet. I said I could. And I'll turn to Veronique as I say that.
She slightly raises an eyebrow at you, but smiles like, okay, let's see where this goes. I'm willing to play.
Have you noticed any of our kindred going missing?
A number.
I figure it affects everyone on both sides of the fence.
You're not wrong.
And I assume that, I'm not gonna insult your intelligence, but I assume you've been delving into that too? Or having people delve into that? Or you just don't care?
Some people don't care, but I like to be informed. Sabrina's very good for that.
Sabrina's been hunted down by the Sabbat.
She does have an unfortunate taste in friends. At times.
Well, I mean, I don't mind being hunted down by your hounds. It's just funny in sport. But she probably doesn't see it the same way. We're actually, well, I'll speak for myself. I'm looking into the disappearances. That can
Good.
benefit us both. Both your sect and ours. Because someone's fucking around with all of us.
It's not just us. It seems to be all of, well, individuals along our lines. We've had reports of Lupine and other individuals that have been captured as well. So it seems to be a little bit bigger than a kindred problem.
And I think on that, we're going to take the break for the evening.
Cool. That way I can go back to my notes. Because I've been trying to search like the dogs of the search thing, and I'm like, where is it? Where is it? Shit. All right, we'll take a short 5 to 10 minute break. We'll be back in a few minutes. Everyone, please stick around. Hello everyone, we're back. Back for some more vampire shenanigans. And we are in a penthouse in New York City, but I'll let Deirdre bring us back into the scene.
We are in a penthouse of a hotel overlooking the East River at 43rd Street and First Avenue. We have in one of the love seats seated Ignatius with Sophia leaning very almost PDA level, but walking that line really finely into him. Seated in an armchair next to them very precisely and very regally is Veronique Montbéliard. A armchair across from you all is Yaphet Kodo. And the three of you are seated along a banquette of a couch. And I believe you were talking about threats to the entire community.
Yeah.
Yes. We've come on good authority that it's not just Kindred that are being taken. We've had at least one lupine and one other, I guess to put it lightly, supernatural being.
Hadn't heard about anyone else. What in particular are we talking about?
And not to reveal too much, I guess. I don't really know what that would be. Not one for the occult, so I mean,
There was also Sophia here. No, wait, was it Veronique or Sophia? It's Veronique.
Sophia.
Sophia,
Yeah,
that
Sophia
we
was
saved.
one. Yep.
There was also Sophia that we saved from them.
I do appreciate your assistance for my cousin, but and he kind of side glances at her. Our family relationship is complicated.
I bet. Because you see, Mr. Kodo, whoever's kidnapping these other vampires, they seem to also be going after those places that you're so fond of.
Housemaids. Could you be more specific?
Out of character, just to make sure, the thing about the Dogs of the Search is that they not only did they kidnap a bunch of vampires, but they forced certain kindred establishments to close.
They arranged social media attacks and used the city's like health and safety inspectors or the fire inspectors to force them to close. Yes.
And these places, were they the same that the Tremere used to have?
Yes, a number of them. It's not just Tremere places that are being closed this way, but a number
A
of those
bunch of them. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the Tremere places that were closed by Dogs of the Search were then bought back by Yaphet Kodo.
Yes.
So you see these people that tend to kidnap our kindred. They happen to close down a lot of vampire establishments. Same establishments that for some reason you bought back, Mr. Kodo.
Well, like I said, there was an interest in those particular pieces of property.
What were those interests in particular, Yaphet?
They meet certain requirements.
I don't believe that my associate, Mrs. Zimmerman, is stating clearly that you seem to be somewhat ever so involved in these, but it is very strangely coincidental.
I am not involved in any kidnappings of Kindred or anyone else. And he kind of turns and says that less to the three of you and more directly to Sophia. And she kind of stares at him for a moment before she nods. Now, if certain places that I'm interested in suffer financial setbacks that need to be addressed, I'm not above taking advantage of it.
And what exactly is your relationship with Francesca Maselli?
I don't have one, beyond the fact that I do so love taking what she owns.
Insight check.
Okay. It's not insight in this game, but sure.
No, I know, but
Sid just yells it. Inside!
It's perception, either perception etiquette or perception performance.
I would like to gauge his reaction on that as well.
so
Okay.
I will roll perception alone, and you know what? Before I even roll, I'll spend a point of willpower to automatically succeed.
Very
So-
good.
Perception, you said perception etiquette or
Perception etiquette or perception performance.
Is it
Yeah.
a contested check?
Not at this moment, no.
Okay.
wow.
So then I just have one success.
I'm sorry for you.
Well, that's Alexander.
Yeah, that's me. That was just bad all around.
Let me.
So you start with one success.
I start with one success. What's the difficulty? 6?
6.
Well, now I'm at 3 successes. Now I'm at 4 successes.
There you go. That's fine.
And I don't
Yeah.
even have a skill in that roll. It's just pure perception.
You are a very perceptive individual.
Yeah, I think I'm
you're
going to
y-
boost it up.
You're used to gauging. You're a private investigator. You're used to gauging whether someone's lying to you or not, whether it was kindred or even mortals beforehand. It's a skill that's necessary for you to do your job. It makes sense that you can do this well. You know that he is honest in the fact that he does not have a relationship with Francesca Maselli. But there's also this, when you saw him the first time, there was that subtle smile of pleasure in that he takes pleasure in others, pain.
Mm-hmm.
He takes pleasure. You see that kind of subtle smile on his face right now. He has no relationship with Francesca Maselli.
But he enjoys knocking her down a peg.
He enjoys the game, and he enjoys that he's winning the game right now.
That's very interesting, Yaffa, that you don't have a relationship with her, but yet you two seem very inclined to be in one another's wheelhouse.
Could you be more specific?
It's just come to our attention that there seems to be a certain feud between the two of you.
It's not much of a feud. I'm just a better businessman than she is.
And how does it feel knowing that you're inexplicably pissing off Giovanni?
I want more information about that. Your associate did promise that. And he kind of gauges back and forth between the two of you and Sid.
I'm sure that Mr. Simon wasn't just going to hand over any information without. I guess it would be quid pro quo.
I've been very forthright.
Well, you'll have to pardon me. I've missed a bit of your conversation from earlier.
That's true, I didn't inform him of anything that you said.
So would you like to expound on the fact that you seem to think there's a Giovanni I'm doing business with?
Oh, I don't think you're doing any business with the Giovanni. I think you're doing business against the Giovanni. You see, Miss Maselli is of the lineage of the Giovanni. However, in her own life, she is bound to the Tremere.
You can see, and it doesn't take a roll for this one, across his face that he's startled, and it takes a minute for him to reset. What you do see in between, while he's contemplating this, is Veronique who had been kind of seated very regally with her legs very daintily crossed at the ankles, taking all of this in, but seeming somehow apart from it, uncrosses her legs and then stands up.
Something wrong?
I believe my cousin needs to have a more private conversation with me at the moment. Don't you agree, Alexander?
I do. This pertains to this evening's earlier events. Yesterday evening's. Yes.
I also believe that this conversation involves information that you were supposed to have shared.
It's been a very busy 24 hours for me, my dear.
Make time. And she kind of gestures with her left hand towards the door behind her.
Very well. Gentlemen, if you'll excuse me.
Alexander's gonna get spanked.
Bye, Alexander.
Say that like it's a bad thing.
Not going to that one.
It's okay, Urshel. Alex and I are bonded. When he dies, I'll feel it. So I can let you know.
I mean, better him than me.
I mean, she doesn't give the impression that she's going to kill him yet.
Oh, he's in trouble.
A lot. So the two of you leave the room. Yaphet then turns back to Sid and Herschel and raises an eyebrow at you. At this point, you can also see that Sophia, who had been lounging kind of very relaxed against Ignatius, has shifted herself to sitting upright and crossed her arms in front of her and just kind of looking all three of the rest of you who are in this room dead in the eye going, you're going to tell me everything that's been going on in detail, or I'll take it from your mind.
Well, if you ask it so nicely, lady.
I thought that was being very polite. Ignatius, wasn't I being polite? And you just see Ignatius kind of give that kind of doe-eyed smile of someone who, it's like, yes, dear, I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot pole. It's like, my wife has made a decision, y'all. Sucks to be you. Look.
So here's the thing. Last night, we went to free someone who was in your position, Sophia. Someone who had been taken. Except that this time, we weren't alone. by the time I got out of there, the fight had already ended. But from what I've been told, because I think Auden told us what happened, right?
No, Autumn was with you. Alexander told you because
Alexander
he
told me.
watched,
Yeah.
and he watched this guy knock the head in of Herschel and dump him in the water, and then he watched the tiny gothic Lolita vampire wreck shit.
So these people were, I presume, mortals. Kine. Keen? Kine? How'd you pronounce it? Kine. Kine. Well armed. Potentially the Inquisition. Which brings me back around to my other point. If those dogs of the search are indeed these humans, they're definitely the pawn of someone else. And, I don't want to be mean, but someone's Crasusing all these places into closing.
You see Yaphet kind of smirk at that, and it's like, it's a very sound business practice.
I know. But that would also mean that the person responsible for all the disappearances is also the person who's been playing the Inquisition like a pawn. Someone who inherited the politics of their sire and their grandsires. Like someone who probably has a foothold in the Catholic Church since the very beginning. Now, my mind might be a little muddled about what happened during the Middle Ages, but with my knowledge of the occult and of our shared history, seems like the what's the word I'm looking for? The like the saying that says that the clearest theory is the right one.
The Occam's razor?
Occam's razor, thank you. Seems like the Occam's razor would fall upon you, Mr. Kodo, part of the La Sombra.
Well, unfortunately, they aren't mine, but they aren't La Sombra. They don't tie to any of the clans, as far as I can tell.
The dogs, you mean?
Yes.
I think they do tie to one of the clans.
I'd be delighted to hear.
I can't really say much more because I physically can't say much more.
Huh. And it's that Sophia just kind of looks at you and goes, Ignatius can fix that for you. He can just take it right out of your head.
That's the problem, lady. I think it's been locked away. It's just a big old ball of darkness.
Ignatius, do you want to play with his head? That could be I would enjoy it. You haven't played with anybody's head in like weeks. And I won't even have to eat this one afterwards. And Ignatius kind of looks at her and goes, maybe we should have a conversation and see what else can happen. Herschel, what are you doing while this conversation is happening?
It's a mixture of like eye rolling and like my head like on the back of the couch, like a lot of that, but I'm not saying anything. When like Franny comes up, I probably shift a little bit. And I'm Yeah, I'm trying to keep my mouth shut.
Okay.
But there's been a lot of good information here, so I'm actually listening.
No, I know. I'm just checking in. And we're going to pan the camera over to the side room, which is a very stylized sitting room with a very ornate, large king-size bed and a balcony. And Veronique has seated herself in one of the chairs right in front of the balcony and looks you dead in the eye, Alexander, and says, "Would you like to tell me what you know about Giovanni in this city? And why you did not inform the Justicar about it last night?"
Well, I was a little busy not meeting the true death last night. I was kidnapped. I was, imprisoned. Thankfully, my coterie has a bit of intelligence and was able to find me. Then we had other pressing matters to attend to. So, yes, I do full well intend to notify the Justicar that there are no Giovanni vampires in the city, but there are certainly fucking Tremere vampires that are of Giovanni bloodlines.
The phone's right there.
Very well.
And now I have to go play nice with Yoffit. I don't like playing nice with Yoffit.
Well, no one said you have to play nice with
No,
Yoffit.
no. I have to play nice with Yoffit. You, Alexander, are a beautiful example of what a Ventrue is when they are turned in male. I am not. I'm a beautiful example of what the Ventrue is in their hidden powers, because while you can stand around and talk about these things in public, I need to use other means. Did you not listen to what came out of that asshole's mouth just now?
Enlighten me, dear.
When he was discussing a certain Francesca Maselli, he talked about how he was the better businessman. That stress is mildly important to him. It makes him feel powerful. He refers to Sophia as his cousin, when in actuality he should refer to her as his aunt. It is mildly important in their circles, but these things are a petty pleasure that he enjoys engaging in.
Yeah, do tell, what is his take on the Sabbat? He doesn't seem very inclined with their ways, which is very strange considering his attempts at my recruitment over the years.
He's an intelligent individual that believes in using what is in front of him to gain his own goals. The man was a prince of Cameroon before he was turned. He had no desire to give up that title, so officially he didn't.
Yes, but it'd be a little odd for a prince to remain a prince for, I don't know, many, many decades.
Over a century, darling.
Very well. I'll make myself available again once I've notified Jessica and the Justicar on what has come about.
Very good. I will go deal with this thing. You know, your young associate might actually get out of here without being eaten. I have enough stress dealing with Yoffit. And she kind of glares at you until you pick up the phone and then walks out of the room.
I guess I have a phone call to make. And I will start with Jessica. I'll go above Jessica and go straight to the Justicar with what I know.
So you're going straight to the Justicar, not Jessica.
Yes.
Okay. The Justicar answers the phone on the second ring, and he says, "Yes, Veronique?"
No, Cadfael, this is Alexander. I'm in the presence of Miss Montbéliard, but I have some important information to let you know. The Lasombra that have been purchasing property, well, the other end of that party that have been bargaining on those properties is a Tremere by the name of Francesca Maselli. Interesting tidbit about Miss Muselli is she is of Giovanni bloodline.
Ah,
Yes. So the stories that everyone loves to tout that there are no Giovanni vampires in the city is true. Mildly inaccurate, but true. Yes, it appears I don't know when, but Miss Muselli was turned by the Tremere.
it seems I need to have an appointment with the Tremere. Good night.
You're very welcome. Have a good evening.
And he hangs up the phone.
And I will, at that point, just make a note to call Jessica and let her know what I had informed the Jessica of.
She would probably not be upset that you went over her head and went straight to the Justicar with that, because
She'd understand.
she would understand. Meanwhile, just at the point when in the other room, when Sophia has offered to have Ignatius pull this out of your mind, Sid, Veronique comes walking back in. Very perfectly polite, and turns and looks at everyone here and says, well, would somebody like to inform me as to the relevance of any Giovanni being to any information on that?
Hey, we're all in this together now. We don't have any more information than that. It's just everything pointed to Kodo. And I think everything still points to Kodo in some way.
Does anyone else have any further information on this Francesca Maselli?
Oh, she has weird powers that can prevent people from saying her name.
That's blood magic. That's not weird.
Blood magic is weird.
And she kind of scans the room. Anything else? Anything else I should actually be concerned about before the Justicar goes to deal with the problem? In a very permanent manner.
Ah, shit, the Justicar is gonna do her in. I was
Giovanni...
hoping one of us would get the killing blow. Or get a blood hunt on her.
The Justicars are mite pissed that he had to be called to this city.
I'm
I'm a mite pissed that he had to be called to this city. Do you really want to get in his way?
Oh, I thought the Justicar could, I don't know, take a vacation and let us do it. But if he wants so bad to have Francesca Maselli meet Final Death, I mean, hey, go right ahead.
Herschel, what is your reaction to hearing that?
Probably awkward fidgeting, like obvious, nervous, ticks and shifting in my seat. I am really trying hard not to say anything.
I am so trying to keep you safe right now.
Yeah, I was hoping to keep the focus on Francesca and not, Herschel's. Oh yeah, that one's blood bonded to her.
Your fidgeting does not go unnoticed, and Veronique turns dead center and looks at you and goes, Herschel, is there something you'd want to tell me?
Honestly, no.
Let me rephrase that. Can you roll willpower? DC 9.
Hey, you got a shitload of willpower though. That's the only reason I've not tried to dominate you for so long.
Does my magic resistance and or iron will come into play?
Iron will does, not magic.
Okay.
That gives you an extra dice.
You have like 10 willpower, don't you?
Yeah, there's a few of them in there.
Yeah, it's like some ridiculous amount that you have.
You said DC 9?
DC 9. And I'll tell you why in a minute.
Come on.
Oh,
I messed that one up.
No, you.
hey, it's still like 2 successes.
No, it's only one.
It's 2
You-
successes.
2.
That was a 2?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
because you
yeah.
rolled
I
10
rolled
twice.
a 1d19.
But her 7 successes outweighs that. Sorry. You she turns and says, would you like to let me rephrase the question. You are going to tell me what you know about Francesca Maselli. And you feel the full weight of her dominate power over you. And it's not subtle. Like, you have felt Alexander's dominate before. You could ignore it at times, but you knew it was in the room. You knew that other people would look around and see it. This feels like an angry mom coming up to you, taking the sides of your face, turning them towards her and saying, now would you like to try and lie to me again before or after? And you cannot stop yourself from telling her everything you know about Francesca Maselli.
Well, it all started way back in grade school.
So she's young. Move on.
Well, we were romantically involved throughout the years, and then we dropped contact, and then...
Why did you drop contact?
Well, I was a human at the time, and then I became one, or a vampire, and then I figured it would be kind of awkward being romantically involved with the human. So,
Always is. Move on.
So I kind of ignored her for quite a few years, and then she more recently came and looked me up again, and then we spent some time together.
How did she find you?
She had my phone number somehow, I imagine. She, out of the blue, texted me.
We'll deal with that separately. What happened when you met?
Well, we met for coffee at one place, and then I met her at a Tremere house.
You
And
went
then-
to the Chantry.
Yeah, I believe so.
What occurred there?
Well, we had dinner. That was quite nice, and then we spent the night together.
Was blood
and-
exchanged?
Yeah,
Both ways or just one?
I believe just one way.
You're bonded to her. How? What's the depth? Level?
We're not entirely sure.
You're not sure.
Two, maybe 3.
2, maybe 3. What did she ask of you?
She wanted me to do some computer work for her, and into that, find out who was buying the properties from the Tremere.
Did you do this?
Yes.
And the name?
And I'll look directly at Kodo.
Your focus is on me.
What was your question?
Did you inform her of this?
Yes. I told her I would. I'm a vampire of my word.
Has she contacted you since?
I can't remember, Deirdre. Has she?
She texted you that she missed you. And a kissy face.
That's right. Yes, but I haven't contacted her back since then. The blood bonding wasn't super voluntary, so I'm kind of hesitant about contacting her again.
A mildly wise decision. Ignatius, darling, I think he needs to go to sleep now. He might be in our way if we keep talking. And
Can I resist that?
you can try.
Yes.
You know, we could also just send Herschel back home.
No, we need to have a conversation and we need to continue this, and that's not how this works. I need you to roll manipulation empathy. DC 9.
And none of my other cool stuff comes into play.
Magic resist? No, willpower, you get 1 extra die. Magic resistance doesn't work. This isn't magic. Well, isn't really magic.
Okay.
Beyond the fact that it's a mental vampire thing.
This is just some dominate business.
Oh, you're gone. Have a nice nap. It is dominate, but Alexander, you probably would have walked into the room probably about halfway through this conversation, and you would have felt the dominate coming off of Veronique. But when she turns over her shoulder and says, Ignatius, I think Herschel needs to take a nap, you would feel the power shift between her and Ignatius. And it is dominate, but it's also dominate and aspects combined. And Herschel goes, and he just goes dead-eyed and then falls over.
And I'll look at Sid. Well, shit, they found the blood bond.
Alexander, was there something else you meant to tell me?
No, not at all. That meant to stay close to the chest secret, my dear.
I'm not your dear. Zimmerman, as the only one in this room that I'm not actively angry at the moment, would you like to give me further details?
I gave you all we had. Herschel covered the rest.
Very good. Now you are speaking with Yaphet. And she kind of looks at Yaphet, and you can feel this almost the temperature change in the room. She had been perfectly polite and mostly stepped back and kind of given the impression that she wasn't going to be involved in anything. And Alexander, you know from your conversation with her that she was going to come in and play the political hostess and everything is fine and back off and whatever. But now that's changed. Her entire demeanor is one of, I'm done playing to your expectations. Now I will show you exactly why I am the one to fear in this room, and you should get down on your knees and beg me not to end you now. Yaphet, would you like to explain to Mr. Zimmerman your connection to these, what are they called, Zimmerman?
Dogs of the Search?
Yes. And then, Mr. Zimmerman, would you like to explain to me your connection?
Yeah, that's simple. I don't know.
I will chime in here. Our connection to these dogs of the search, well, that would be one from Miss Pearson. We were asked to look into the disappearances of the kindred that had been gone. And it turned up that these half-assed crew of people that were performing these kidnappings in their piss-poor Latin were involved. That's all we know. We don't know who's funding this group. We don't know where they're coming from, but it seems to be very related to the Inquisition. And last night's events at the Battery would solidify those thoughts. we had armed men, very well armed men, that were, well, trying to give us our last rites.
I see you succeeded in not allowing that to happen. Good, you're worth the investment. Mr. Zimmerman, you seem to think you know more than that. Would you like to expound on it?
That's the thing. I can't. End of the story. Ask Kodo.
Koto. He kind of takes a second, and it's obvious that he's trying to re-gauge things and that he's never seen Veronique act like this. It's hard to determine which one of them is older. It very much is at this point. But you get the impression that as long as Kodo has known Veronique, she is never this is not a side of her personality that he's ever engaged with. And it's throwing him for a loop slightly. Like, he's used to dealing with her in a certain capacity, and this is not it. And after everything that's been going on that's been thrown out tonight, this is slightly a struggle to deal with. And he says, I merely took advantage of their attempts to end kindred, Tremere property ownership. It was in my interests. So you don't know who they were, you didn't do any background checks, you decided merely to deal with some social... You know, this doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me at all. Mr. Zimmerman, you say you can't because you can't. Why? Can't, not don't want to, but do you not know any further information about them, or you just can't tell me any further information about them?
I can't.
I'll wait for Sid to explain.
See, I don't remember.
There's about a 20-year gap in Mrs. Zimmerman's memory that seems to be unobtainable to him.
Well then, that seems to be something we should fix. You have information that might be necessary, Mr. Zimmerman. We should get that.
Alright, how?
Preferably through methods that won't affect
Hurt.
my associate.
Have you tried certain methods? What methods have you tried?
We've done a bit of digging around in there, and we've knocked a few things loose, but nothing more than probably a few hours worth of memory.
And that took a lot of effort.
Who did the work?
A associate of ours that we have on retainer.
Name?
Nope.
That was me being polite. In about 30 seconds, I'm not going to be polite.
Look, I know that you want this whole thing to be done. But I'm not gonna put the life of other of my associates while I'm uncertain, and I look at Kodo and a tiny bit at Sophia. While I'm uncertain of the trustworthiness of the people in this room.
Oh, that's easy to deal with. Kodo won't be a problem in the near future. If he survives this conversation tonight, he won't be a problem at all. And you'll never have a problem, Sophia.
How can you be sure?
She kind of smiles at that, glances over her shoulder at Ignatius, nods to Ignatius. Ignatius kind of sits up, and he had been leaning with his arm stretched out behind Sophia the entire time. Hadn't changed anything. He just sighs, stands up, claps his hands, looks at Yaphet Kodo, spreads his hands, tilts his head, and Yaphet falls down the same blank stare and sleep that Herschel has. Because 250 years of complex bonding ensures that Sophia and I and Ignatius don't have problems like this.
Whoever's behind all this has already sent people to attack her. So you'll
As their conversation is going on, I want to text Rebecca
Okay.
and let her know.
Are you going to be stealthy about this?
I'm going to certainly try, and I will burn a blood point so that I can add points to my dexterity.
Okay. So it's dexterity self.
So just straight dexterity.
Okay.
Oh boy.
You can also burn that willpower to get an automatic success.
Oh man, I don't have much willpower to begin with, so I'm gonna take my chances here. I'm hoping that they're preoccupied enough. Oh, one success for the D10. No, so one success.
Okay. We'll come back to that. You were saying, Sid, that something about Sophia? She had already been kidnapped once, is that it?
Yeah,
What were
well,
you
not
saying?
that she'd been kidnapped once, but that whoever's behind this, they've already sent someone to attack her. So you'll understand my apprehension, so long as I'm unsure of where everyone's loyalties are. But now that we're between Camarilla brethrens, she's a friend of mine. Someone who helped me when I landed in New York City back in the 70s.
Alex, you are texting Rebecca. What do you text Rebecca?
Just a very quick message of, hey, your name is coming up. Things may get messy. You might want to go dark.
And you get a text back. It's very odd. It's not in English.
What is it in?
Hebrew.
Of course. I can speak Hebrew. It's fine. And
then there's like a little winky face afterwards.
I'll rename the contact in my phone Grammy, and I'll just put it away, and I'll let Sid read it when we're done.
Okay. So someone you've known since the 70s. Go on.
Her name's Rebecca.
Rebecca, that's great. I need slightly more details would be necessary.
Why?
Because if she's been inside your head, she has certain capabilities. I need to know what those capabilities are so we can determine what's been done and how we can move her on and then proceed to fix what's wrong with your head.
Well then, I'm just gonna come out and say it. I don't know what she did. I don't know what the extent of her powers are. She's certainly not mortal and she's not one of us.
You just kind of see her look at that, and you get the impression that she's going back through her log of information. Lower East Side, occult shop, outside Chinatown.
Is that the place?
Mm-hmm.
I nod.
Well then, at least you had moderate professionals going through there. Did she say what was necessary to deal with this problem from her end? I'm assuming since it's not complete, there was some requirements that were necessary that you did not have.
Wish I could tell you, but she didn't tell me.
Your sire's blood.
My sire's blood? When did that happen? Was it the last time that she played in, like, out of game? Is it the last
Last time she played with your head, and she decided that Eckhart, when you informed her that Eckhart was in the city, and she got pissed because she hates Eckhart.
Oh, okay.
And that was when she pulled the memory, and that's when she pulled the memory of your turning and the other details about that you had missed about Eckhart and the lineage problem that you have, as well as the fact that you your first memory of encountering Rebecca was fleeing right after you returned.
Yeah. There's one thing that we need. The blood of someone.
Anyone in particular, or...
My sire.
And you see her kind of pause, and that is... I apologize, I haven't memorized all of your lineages yet.
Oh, Eckertstein.
And you see her kind of glance at Ignatius, and Ignatius tilts his head, and then Sophia just kind of smiles subtly and goes, well then, appears we have a kidnapping to plot. Did you desire any emotional attachment to this individual?
Yeah, let the hunting to me. It's personal. We've already gone this far in this investigation. We've done most of the work anyway. Might as well keep going. Plus, that way you can claim deniability if anything happens.
There won't be a problem with anything that I do. But if you desire... Well then. And she kind of shifts herself, and her entire physical demeanor changes. Not her personality, not the command that she still has in this room, but the stance that she's standing. She shifts her weight from her right leg to her left. Turns her bodies to the entire shift slightly. She raises her head, and her posture, which was already perfect, now becomes even more so. And when she speaks again, her phrasing changes entirely. I believe at this time that for you to go on a little hunt, Monsieur Zimmerman, you have the permission of the Tribune to bring me Eckhart Stein. Preferably still undead.
Shit. Alright. Can't promise you won't be in torpor.
Oh no. For this I will be awake.
It's gonna be a mite easier to bring if he's asleep.
Alright.
And, what about him? And I motion to Kodo. All the signs point to him anyway.
I'm about to have a much more personal conversation with Monsieur Koto. He will not be a problem in the near future. Now that he is out of the embassy, he won't be a problem for a lot of people in the near future.
You do all the work, and you can't get the killing blow. That sucks.
Oh, darling, when it's time for him to meet his final death, if you've been very, very nice to me, then you can do so. He's not going to be meeting that anytime soon.
Damn it. Alright.
I mean, did you want to spend the next 3 nights with me as I slowly break him mentally?
Could be fun, but I have a hunt to do.
I do hope Rebecca is well. She is alright?
I don't know.
Well, tell her to call me. We'll have tea next week. Alright then. And she shifts again. Looks at Ignatius, and he kind of nods and snaps his finger behind him, and 2 gentlemen in business suits with earpieces and sunglasses inside, because this is what they do. It's inside and in night, but they're still wearing the sunglasses. Come in and pick up Yaphet Koder under the arms and carry him out to one of the other side rooms. At the same time, he kind of looks at Veronique. She looks back, then looks at Sophia. Sophia sighs, gets up, and leans over to Herschel and taps him in the middle of the forehead like 6 or 7 times to wake him up.
I hate this place.
Yeah, let's go. We're leaving.
Have a very pleasant night, gentlemen. Do keep your mouths shut. I'd hate to make a personal visit. Oh, but Mr. Zimmerman, before you go, Sophia has a gift for you. Don't you, darling?
Swear to fucking God, if it's Frank Sinatra, I'm gonna kill every one of you.
No, you didn't like that one. This one's a little bit better. Sophia. And Sophia comes out and hands you an envelope.
Oh, hey, money or anthrax. Let's see which one it is. And I open it.
It's a check.
Money.
For $2.3 million.
I deadpan turn around to Alex and say, I demand a divorce.
You silly bastard. Common law marriages are no longer valid in New York.
Yes, they are. Also, it's a common property state.
No, well then half of that's mine.
Not until I bank it, isn't?
Also, the royalties should be added to your...
Oh,
No,
wait,
you
that's
need-
because I fuck up that guy's jaw?
That was your division of the bets, yes.
Wow.
But the royalties, Sophia, you have to show him. This will be perfect.
Hey,
And
Herschel.
Sophia...
Herschel, I'm gonna go buy you a computer.
Thanks.
Sophia kind of smirks, nods, and hands you, Sid, a tablet. And on the tablet are 2 things kind of split in between the screen. One is an accounting ledger where you see sales and dividends and costs, and then you see royalty percentages at the end. And the other is a posting on an online store for a image of you shortly after, just before you ripped this guy's jaw off, slightly sweaty, without a shirt, in harem pants and a large fabric belt with your arms extended. It's a very great shot, like full-on sports editor, cover of Sports Illustrated level of action shot. And you can see in the accounting that currently there are 250,000 units sold.
Of what? This picture of me?
Yes.
Jesus, what the fuck are people doing with that picture of me?
Are you sure you really want to know, Mr. Zimmerman?
I mean, I don't know, does it come with like scratch and sniff and it smells like blood or some shit?
Oh no. We can make that. We'll add that to the next section. But we might have to work on the next time you make a performance at the Elysium, getting some better shots, adding to the whole collection. Maybe a calendar, Sophia. What do you think about that?
The fuck you take me for? Like some sort of hambo?
Why not? It makes me money. It's also making you money at the moment.
Yeah, I look back at the envelope and I'm like, yeah, I'll be a himbo. I mean, for $2.3 million? Sure. All I had to do was fuck up one guy.
They gesture to the door. I assume you make your excuses.
Wait, when do I touch the royalties?
You, as soon as I get a bank account number that I can deposit monthly into.
I will have Elizabeth send over the information shortly.
Of course, thank you.
I will take the paper upon which I was scribbling my bank account number. I will fold it, put it back in my pocket then.
What do you think it is that I do to make money, Sid?
Take picture of me and sell them on the internet?
Absolutely not.
That's what they're doing, and it seems to be working.
Yes, but I am in entertainment management. I am aware of what needs to be done to make you more money, Sid.
Oh, fuck, you're gonna become my agent now?
Pretty much.
Shit.
You've not been able to get rid of me for the last 40 years. What makes you think that it's going to happen now?
Well,
Besides,
don't
this
you...
is a good thing.
Yeah, you'd better not double-cross me because I know where you live.
Well, I mean, this just means you won't be spending as much of my money then.
No, I know, right?
Exactly.
Feels good not to be a leech anymore.
No, you're never a leech. It's fine. I will have everything necessary sent over for Mr. Zimmerman's accounts.
You just kind of see Veronique and Sophia and Ignatius kind of smiling at the two of you, going, "Oh, they're so sweet."
Oh, I
They've only
figured
been
this whole
bonded for 40
discussion was...
years.
I thought that this whole discussion was happening, like, in the elevator. As we were
Okay.
going down.
As we're leaving, yes.
You waiting outside for you is not your usual driver, but the other one, the older Russian gentleman who opens the door patiently for you to get in. You make your way back home. Your phone buzzes again, Alexander, and there's another text from Rebecca, again in Hebrew.
Oh, yes, shit. Here, and I'll hand the phone to Sid. Do you mind reading this, please? I don't speak Hebrew.
Yeah. I take the phone and I'll read the message for myself first.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to read it out loud in case it's like a spell or something. So I'll read it in my mind.
I'll send it to you then.
Please don't send it to me in Hebrew. I don't read Hebrew in real life.
No. I can't type Hebrew on this computer, and I'm not fluent enough to do it off the top of my head.
Atu, Farada.
No. Mm-mm.
Isn't that what you need when you read it from the... Isn't that what you read from the Necronomicon to awaken the dead?
Yes. Mm-mm. We don't need to go there.
Or at worst, send it to me after the game, because, I mean, we
Yeah.
could... If it's not, like, a
no, it's,
game-altering thing, like...
No. And, that was the second message she sent.
Oh, I was wondering what the fuck you were sending to me on on Zoom. I'm like...
No,
Okay,
that's what she sends
but-
you. That's what you read.
Oh, then I will reply.
Okay. So you don't read it out loud for Alex?
Yeah,
then?
I'll read it out loud after. Thanks for the heads up. I've made adjustments already. Did you like the present? Yeah, I put it in the kitchen. She left us vials of something.
If it were from anyone else but Rebecca, I would be extremely concerned.
I don't know, I'm thinking of drinking one in celebration of the fact that we're about to fuck up my sire.
Well, you know, there's a silver lining everywhere.
Wish there was silver lining around our house that could probably prevent the ghosts from coming in.
Well, it's not so much the ghost coming in, it's just the Giovanni pissing it off.
Yeah. What?
I'm just godless lawyer, that's all.
Oh, yeah. No, I've been keeping an eye on all the puns and trying really hard not to shake my head. You're muted, Deirdre.
You make your way home. Sorry. To your abode. There is a package at the door for you. It is not inside, it's outside.
At least it's outside this time.
Fucking hell. Money or anthrax?
Who's the package addressed to?
It's addressed to Herschel.
Oh, fuck's sake, burn it.
We don't know what's inside.
Yeah, Alexander, just because you're jealous that your boyfriend doesn't buy you anything.
I, for some reason, somehow resent that.
Sorry, I really don't know your guys' romantic thing. Are you? Yeah, it's all weird. Anyway, can I open it up?
Sure. It's a box about 1 foot by 6 inches by 4 inches.
I open it up.
There is a folded piece of paper on top and a bubble wrap on the inside.
Ooh. I open the card.
It's not a card, it's just a
Oh.
notary stationery folded in half.
Yeah.
You open it up and it's like, saw this, thought of you, can't wait to see you again, Franny, and then this little heart at the end.
And in the bubble wrap?
Is a very high-end, very professional mic and bugs. They're audio recording devices and a receiver.
I chuckle.
Want to make sure they're not fucking live?
I mean, they're probably not.
They are
They-
still in their plastic, sort of.
You can put something back in the plastic.
See, that this is funny because the last time I had one, she vaporized it.
It's really funny that the person that we're probably going up against is sending you stuff to bug our place with.
I'm not gonna bug our place with it.
Unless she demands
I
you
already
to.
have.
What?
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 Alright, come on, we're buying you a computer.
Sweet. So I go with Dad to the computer store.
Well,
We're gonna go to Best Buy and get a shitty computer pre-made.
That's right.
There is another package right inside the door. Well, a number of other packages right inside the door that are all labeled for for Herschel, care of Alexander.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right, because you already ordered them through
Everything that
Elspeth.
was on your list, yes.
Hey, Merry Christmas.
If you guys need me, I'm gonna be in the basement for quite some time, and I'll just start grabbing boxes.
Leave the bugs up here, please.
I leave the bug box upstairs.
Thank you.
And then as soon as I get downstairs, I text Franny. I say, Justicar coming for you, Veronique and
You
Ignatius.
don't
Yeah,
know any of that.
they erased my memory.
No, you were
You were
asleep during
asleep.
that time.
I thought they said it before I.
Nope. And you have no knowledge of the Justicar because that whole conversation was with Alexander in a separate room while you were unconscious.
I thought they came out and said it, and then they put me to sleep.
No.
All right.
That's when.
Well, you could probably, like,
Well, you don't know. She came out. She came out asking about that information,
Mm-hmm.
and then put you to sleep. But you have no knowledge that the Justicar knows anything about it because that
I
whole
see.
conversation was in a different room.
no, but he might know that shit's about to go down, though.
Yeah. So which one dominated me?
Veronique.
Okay. Yeah, I'll say Veronique, Ignatius, and Sophia know about you and what you are. Be safe. And then I'll like delete that message,
You don't
And
get
then-
a response.
and then I'll come back upstairs and keep grabbing boxes.
You don't get a response. The other two of you, what are you doing?
By the sounds of it, we should be reestablishing our relationship here.
Fuck it, I'm going to the kitchen.
Thanks for the parts, Alexander. They're really going to come in handy.
I certainly hope so. I hope that you put them to proper uses. And no more going after the Swiss, please.
You guys wanted me to. You wanted to figure out who was buying all the properties.
That wasn't us, that was your girlfriend.
I mean, that was our original job from Jessica Pearson, was to figure out who was messing around and closing properties, wasn't it?
Yeah, he has a point, Alex.
Yes, but who asked him the last time, and all of a sudden he had the motivation to do so?
I know, yeah. Basically, someone gave him an incentive to do it, but it would have happened at some point anyway. Now I'm gonna go in the kitchen and drink some weird blood.
Oh, you
I-
can just drink weird blood, but I can't?
You are setting a poor example.
Well, when you're older and you understand how blood bonding works, yes. This, and I hold up the vial, is not vitae. This is,
Is what?
I don't know.
And I will stay around to observe Sid for
I-
any ill effects.
I go,
Nope, you do not. Well, unless
Okay,
you're
good.
choosing to mess with
No.
everyone, you do not pass out. You don't feel anything right away. It tasted good, really good, like the best thing you've ever had.
yeah.
Reminiscent of like a perfect steak dinner, steak au poivre with perfectly cooked mashed potatoes, asparagus.
Sid's vegetarian.
Okay, well, a very meaty portobello cap. You're vegetarian. I knew Sid was kosher. I didn't know he was vegetarian.
No, he's just kosher.
No, it tastes infinitely better than any human you've ever had.
Oh yeah, ambrosia.
Almost. And you feel healthier. Better.
Stronger,
Yes,
faster.
you could be.
Sid dies.
Nope, Sid does nothing of the sort. Sid, since you are in the kitchen, and Alex, you are with him in the kitchen, can you both roll me perception alertness?
Both of us?
Mhm.
Listen or sight?
Sight.
Okay. Difficulty?
6.
Too many successes. 4 successes. Oh shit.
Alex, you're busy watching Sid to make sure that nothing untoward happens to him. And Sid's kind of looking around the room, taking it all in. Sid, you notice a single bud vase has been kind of haphazardly placed on the counter. In the vase is a single red rose with a black ribbon tied around it, and a small card with Auden's name on it. And you notice that there's also a small box of chocolates next to it that looks half eaten.
What the fuck?
Or not half eaten, but like a couple of them have been taken out.
I think someone came home.
You would also notice that the chair in the kitchen table has been tipped over and the back door is open.
Shit. I immediately run to Auden, to my floor, to see if Auden is in the bedroom.
Auden's not upstairs.
And then on the way down, I'll check her room just to be sure.
And I'll immediately check outside.
Auden's not anywhere to be found.
And I will make my way back downstairs. Auden's gone.
No shit.
I mean, bad gone or just out and about?
No, not good gone.
I look at the chocolate and the rose and I'm like, didn't she have a stalker?
No, she had daddy issues.
Yeah, well. Seems like new dad's gonna have to fuck up old dad.
And on that, we're going to end it for tonight.
Great one-liners.
I was like, that's perfect. Thank you all. We still having fun?
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Simon, the player, is really rooting for Quentin to fuck us over with his character. Like, I love the fact that you put yourself through so much, like, you gave yourself so many flaws that it's just, like, coming back to bite us all.
Mm-hmm.
And that's awesome.
I just want to say that I've said this from the beginning. That was gonna happen.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, like even though it's a lot of fun. Even just like sitting here, just like, don't talk to me about Franny. Don't talk to me about Franny. Don't talk to me about Franny. I can't lie.
I did everything in my power
Oh, wait, you have a flaw
not
that
to
you
throw
can't
you
lie.
under the bus.
No, it's not I just like if anybody's like if somebody insight checks me, I have such like a negative charisma that I'm like, I don't know, Franny.
He has -3 to any charisma rolls he makes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was
Whoa.
like, I can sell out Francesca without selling out Herschel until Herschel can't not make it aware that
Yeah.
he knows more than he's letting on.
So, let's go around the table. Tell us who you are, where we can find you, and then I'll do the whole speech afterwards. We'll start with reverse order from how we introduce ourselves. So let's begin with our storyteller.
Oh, hey, all. You know me. I'm at Georgia Dolan on Twitter, or Praxagora Thesmiophoria, as you see me hanging out in the Twitch chat. I'm having fun. So many things are coming out. It's great. I can't wait for this whole thing to happen. And right now it's a timeline to see whether or not Herschel will screw you all or other things will happen to prevent Herschel from screwing you all. But as for me, you can find me usually hanging out here a lot. I love hanging out here. You should come hang out here more often. It's fun. I have lots of fun hanging out with my friends here. But you can also find me this week at PAX. I'll be at PAX Unplugged. Come say hi, wave, fist bump. I'm helping the Killer GM run a tournament for D&D. It is a team team PvP tournaments. So you play as one team versus another, and it'll go on all weekend until there's final winner. And then other than that, I'm doing a bunch of stuff. So come find me. But I can't wait. So no, there will not be a game next Saturday. Sad, because I will be at PAX. But I think a bunch of us are at PAX, so come hang out. And I can't wait.
All right. Quentin.
Gosh, I had such a great time. Thragon in chat, Thragon on Twitter. By the way, I'm rooting for Franny. Like, all these prissy-doocy vampires, I hope she turns them all into a puddle of mush. Like, I can't wait. It's gonna be so good, and I'm really excited, and everything is just coming together. I do feel pretty bad about Auden being captured. I feel like I have a small part to play in that. Just a real tiny one. But yeah, I'm excited to play again, and yeah, that's all I got. Thanks again.
Cool. And last but not least amongst our players, Scott.
Hey everyone, at Berserker_Rage on the Twitch and Twitter, so feel free to stop by and check me out there. You can always find me here on Saturdays on this wonderful, wonderful channel. You should, make it a habit to come here like all the time when Simon's streaming, so make sure you follow him and on all the socials and the Twitch, so you know when he goes live and things like that. Definitely the place to be. I want to thank you all for having us. I know it's going to be another 2 weeks before we get to play again, but this was a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to 2 weeks and seeing what happens. And I hope everyone that's going to PAX U has a wonderful time and goes and checks out all these wonderful, wonderful people.
Thank you. And I am Simon at Wandering DM. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you everyone for who hung out in chat. Thank you for the donations, the subscriptions, the follows, the everything. Thank you to all of you watching on YouTube. It's always greatly appreciated to know that we have fans on the other platforms as well. I will also be at PAX U this weekend, so come find me if you want to talk about any of the games that we're running right now. If you want to talk to me about Age of Arcana, the campaign setting I'm working on, whose games you can see being played on Monday over on Role Players, or even if you want to talk to me about Dark Matter, which we play here on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. And you want to talk Vamp, you want to talk Cyberpunk, you want to talk Witcher, I'm your person. I also want to thank all of our sponsors, Magehand Press. You can go at their store, store.magehandpress.com. Use coupon code WanderingDM to get 15% off any of their books, including the hardcover pre-order for Dark Matter, which we should have on display at PAX Unplugged, but I'm not 100% certain. Our new sponsor, Found Familiar, the coffee company. They look awesome. It tastes awesome. I can't wait to get more. They will, I don't think they're at PAX though, but I think you can find them at foundfamiliar.com. And remember, if you use code WanderingDM, you get 10% off. Not only that, but you also have free shipping on any order of $50 or more. And finally, Dice Envy, our newest sponsor. You can click on the link down below. There's no command in chat for Dice Envy just yet because that happened over the course of the day today. Yeah, fantastic dice, really nice looking. I'm particularly fond of two sets that I'm probably gonna get for myself after Christmas. So yeah, they're awesome. Check them out down below. Otherwise, tomorrow I will be streaming in the probably late afternoon, early evening. I have a game tomorrow morning, but after that, I don't know what I'll do yet, so keep your eye out on my Twitter. But theoretically, by tomorrow's stream, I should be eligible for partner with Twitch. So it'll be a small celebratory to a stream for me. So come one, come all, we'll see what we'll do, but we'll have fun, and we'll enjoy ourselves. On that note, ciao everyone, have a good night, and we'll see you again after PAX.